In this very brief lecture, I will provide you with a very brief introduction to Numpy, which is an important and a rather basic package for Python-based data science. And essentially, let us just look at the Wikipedia of Numpy. Numpy stands for numerical Python, and what it does is, as opposed to the conventional Python data structures, it has a lot of support for multidimensional arrays and matrices and allows for implementing high level mathematical functions on matrices and arrays. And matrices and arrays, in a manner of speaking, are a building block for data science. And the key thing about Numpy is that it provides us with ND array, and that's a fast and efficient way of storing homogeneous data. And this can be either rank 1 or rank 2, unidimensional or multidimensional. And there's a plethora of mathematical functions out there that we can implement on ND arrays. But first, I'm going to look at the importation conventions. Now that we are working with Jupyter, the Anaconda system, all of these packages, things like NumPy, Pandas, they come installed, but we have to import them before we can use them. So when I say import NumPy as NP, it is going to import the NumPy package as NP. And whenever I want to essentially use NumPy for something very NumPy specific, I'll have to specify, things like np.array or, np.0. So when I want to refer to NumPy specific functionalities, then I have to append this NumPy to whichever function I'm alluding to. Otherwise, it won't work. So np.I. Now, I is a kind of a NumPy function, and if I want to call it, then I have to say np.I, and instead of importing NumPy as NP, if I just imported NumPy, then instead of NP, I would have to specify NumPy, NUMPY, and specify the whole thing. So that is why it's more convenient to say np.array, and we are going to use similar conventions throughout this course. So if I want to import pandas, which is another very important data science library, I can either say import pandas or say import pandas as PD, and this is just one of the most common ways of alluding to these specific data science packages. And as you can see over here, when I put in a very simple array, this it is of the type list. And this is because list is a very common Python data structure. It is useful for a lot of operations, but it is frankly not conducive for data science. So when I say np.array, it becomes a numpy.nd array object. And it is these numpy.nd array objects that we are going to work with throughout this section and see the different functions that we can implement on numpy.nd array. And this includes everything from basic arithmetic operations to solving a system of linear equations to basic statistics. So essentially, now you can go right ahead, import NumPy as NP, and we will get started from the next lecture onwards.